The Mechanics of Talking is a fabulous set of worksheets for the middle school student to enable them to explore the mechanics of how a sound is made, what points of articulation apply in the mouth to create different sounds. If we looked at a profile of the normal skull, it shows a couple of cavities and identifies the direction the sound flows. The sound naturally comes up through the throat and can either come out through the mouth or can in fact flow up and come out through the nose. All these other parts of the body there can impact the sort of sound that is created. The lips, the teeth, the tongue, and even this little uvula flap here can affect how the sound is made. You can experiment with these different parts of the body, closing your lips, making a sound with your tongue, making the sound with the back of your tongue. All the different parts of the mouth here can create a different sound. And see if you can determine what sound is made by each of those parts of the mouth. If you have a closer look at these drawings, they're trying to identify a certain type of sound. The sound flow here is up through the throat and out through the mouth. And it's articulated by the tip of the tongue behind the top set of teeth. That, there's many sounds that can be made by articulating through the mouth and the tongue touching the top of the teeth. A different sound here is when the lips are closed. Ba, ba, or p, p, or mm. The tongue's not touching, the red bit is the tongue, it's not touching any part of the mouth, the roof of the mouth, but the lips are closed. And here the back of the tongue is touching the top of the mouth. See if you can work out what sound is made with that. Ka, ka. So looking again at the letter K, redraw this to indicate how the sound would be made. You need to redraw the tongue so it's positioned in a different spot. And same with the letter N. Redraw the tongue here, just draw over the top of it to indicate how the sound is made. You've got to do something with the uvula here to indicate that the sound comes out through the nose. Some parts of the mouth can produce different sounds. For instance, the letter P and B are both articulated with the lips. But there's something about those two sounds that make them different. Of course, it's the voice box. It's the thing that vibrates in the throat. And if you hold your throat while you're talking, you can feel it vibrating. So sounds can be divided according to whether they're voiced or voiceless. To determine whether a sound is voiced or voiceless, I suggest putting a vowel on either side of it, uppa, uppa, and when you say the actual b, 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 is the voice box vibrating? Abba, abba, when you say the b in there, you can feel the voice box vibrating. Don't get confused by the sound of the vowels either side of it. It's quite important to be able to tell the difference between a voiced and a voiceless sound because it does give the word a different meaning. Big and pig. The letter P is voiceless and the letter B is voiced. If you mix them up, then you'll have different words. So pig starts with an unvoiced sound. It's made still with the lips, just like the letter B, but the B is voiced. There are some sounds we make through our nose, and these are called nasal sounds. In fact, you know a nasal sound when you pinch your nose and you can't say it, then that would normally be a nasal sound. The air can't flow through the nose, which often happens when you've got a cold. These sounds, L and R, are called continuous sounds. The L is a lateral sound. It's made through the side of the mouth. You try to say that, and you can feel that the airflow is through the side of the mouth. The is a rhotic sound, and you need to curl the tongue back a bit, and it doesn't touch any part of the roof of the mouth or the teeth, and the air flows through the middle. unimpeded. There's a couple of sounds which are neither a consonant nor a vowel, and that's Y and W. Y, and W. Each of these have different parts of the mouth that are used to modify the sound. See if you can work out what they are. There are some never-ending sounds, S, Z, F, and V. Some are made by different parts of the mouth, the lower lip and the upper teeth, F and V, and the tip of the tongue behind the teeth, S and Z. We call these continuous sounds, and the difference S and Z, they're articulated exactly the same, except one is voiced and the other is voiceless. Same with F and V. One is voiced and the other is voiceless. We've already talked about L and R, and they are continuous sounds. So here we got some descriptions. See if you can work out from the description what sound of the alphabet it is. It's interesting to notice that there's a lot of letters in the alphabet that we don't need. For instance, the letter X is a combination of two sounds, K and S. So if we've already got the letter K and the S in the alphabet, so we don't really need X. You think of any word that's got X in it, then you could substitute the letters K and S with it, and we just don't need the letter X. Same with Q, the letter Q. You think of any word with Q in it, queen, quick, queer, really, that's two sounds together, K and W. And the alphabet already has those sounds, K and W. So we don't need the letter K either. Down here, I'm talking about the letter C. We don't need the letter C either. Because whenever the letter C is used, it's either to represent the sound S or K. Like cancel, it's got both the types in it, K and S. And so you could rewrite that word K-A-N-S-I-L and do away with the letter C altogether. So the alphabet, we don't need the C. We talked about we don't need the Q, we don't need the X. In fact, what I'm talking about is writing words more phonetically, exactly how they sound. We've talked about the word quick, could be written as quick, K-W-I-K. And the word egg can be more simply written as egg. Try to rewrite these words phonetically. Phonetic writing is actually another set of alphabets altogether, and it's an alphabet that linguists use to transcribe a language. If they ever go into a language that they've never heard before, has never been recorded, then they're equipped with this set of letters, set of symbols, to exactly record the right sound, exactly as it's said. And it's also used to capture accents or dialects or how a person speaks. By writing these letters these ways, a really good linguist can transcribe exactly how a person is saying the language. And you can see in this text below here, this has all been written in phonetics. See if you can read it. It's the opening paragraph from the novel The Hobbit. And here are all the sounds, all the letters that the International Phonetic Alphabet uses, and it's linguists that use it to capture exactly how language is spoken. Now, we've talked about the letters in the alphabet, and you should be able to put most of the letters that we've talked about somewhere on this matrix. So stops, that's like P and B and K and D and T. You should be able to put that in here according to how they're articulated and whether they're voiced or voiceless. The continuants, S, F, V, all, you should be able to once again put them in a square here according to exactly how they're articulated and whether it's voiced or voiceless. And the nasals, all the nasals are voiced. There's not every square will be filled. See if you can try to make a sound represented by the square. If you do come up with a sound represented by the square. It's not represented by an alphabet. You only need to look back at the International Phonetics Alphabet here, and you will find a symbol that will represent the sound that you're making. So that's all about the mechanics of speaking. It's just touching on the topic. And you might be interested to go and look elsewhere to explore it a bit more. Thank you.